Going out live. I'm gonna hit. That's okay. There's nobody watching anyway.
No, especially
I was not looking at the screen. I'm trying to share it on Threads. Did you guys make a Threads account yet?
No.
No worries if you didn't. It's not that great.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about it, but I just glad to be here.
Oh, there's 3 people.
I'm glad to be here. No, I really am.
Well, I know one of those 3 is my good friend XRP. My best friend.
Oh, yeah. Give us a wink, XRP.
Yeah. It'd be cool, man. If you want to come on and talk, it'd be awesome.
Not on mine, though. I don't want to hear from you.
Oh, no. Well, it's educational purposes only.
That would be difficult.
Open to all paths.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. We're going to talk about...
Hi, L.
Oh,
Hi,
Elle. I love seeing Elle in here. She always has great comments.
Is that the Golden Girls in your icon, L? Because that's really cool.
It's very small. Oh,
Looks
it
like
is, isn't it?
Looks like Sophia.
I have never seen an episode of The Golden.
Me either.
Wow. Anyway, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting a couple minutes to see if some people's join. And we're going to take you down a road of glory, freedom, and happiness.
Sounds interesting.
It is, she said. Very nice.
I am...
Nylink.
New freedom and a new happiness.
What about you?
I don't have any new freedoms. I'm just joking.
Yeah. I'm over here. I'm absolutely miserable.
Hey, Mike. Sorry.
What's up, Mike? Mike.
Mick.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Let's bust this popsicle stand. That was when you leave somewhere, right?
Sure. I think it's below this popsicle stand.
It's bust.
That's blow.
I changed it to bust. Anyways.
Like the dude from Boondock Saints. Why don't you make like a tree? Hey, get the fuck out of here.
So, okay, so go ahead, Adam.
Go ahead. This is your topic.
Yeah, this is your show.
Oh,
You muted yourself.
Look at that. It's been a long day for Lindsay. Still muted.
Still muted.
Technical difficulties.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ooh,
thank you for being here.
New freedom. I tell you what, here's new freedom. I am in a career field, or I should say my job in my career field allows me to travel all over the United States and stay in hotels with bars downstairs, mini bars in the room, rental cars, restaurants with bars, and I have absolutely no concern about drinking, and the thought to drink never crosses my mind. That's freedom.
Hell yeah. I had a smart ass comment in the beginning, but then you finished it, and it's too good for me to mess up. That is freedom.
Okay, we'll get it next time then.
Yeah, that is freedom, folks, and it doesn't matter how the fuck you get it, but once you fucking got it, that's what all that matters. And Adam is living a good life.
Yep.
Anyways, I like what you said, Adam. Can you hear the creak of my chair, the squeak?
I thought that was your knees.
Yeah, you should probably stand.
And every time I move, I gotta go do something with myself. You guys wanted to handle this?
Yeah, click on Elle's comment. Read that one. That's another good one. That's another freedom that she's experiencing.
Elle said the other day Lindsay was talking about not hating outside or sunshine these days. That's just occurring for me. It's a nice new kind of freedom. Small, simple, huge things like that. Oh my gosh, it's so true. Like
No,
it may seem
anything
little,
else.
but it's not.
Small, simple, huge, because the small and simple things can be huge.
Yeah.
Because you miss
Absolutely.
those things, like the taste of food, the
Yeah.
birds chirping, looking at a beautiful starry night here in Michigan. When it's not fucking snowing. Well, I've swore like 6 times already, but
I didn't even hear it.
it's those little things. Absolutely. Congratulations, El. Very happy to hear that.
Yeah, that's great. Sunshine's a cure-all, man. I'll tell you right now. Not only will it cure COVID, I didn't say that.
Oh my
It
God.
cures a lot of other
Real.
things. A lot of other psychological.
Live stream interrupted. Misinformation.
The feds are going to kick in at us.
I was gonna say the NSA's listening. And
Yeah.
they'd be like,
I'm going to jail. My FBI person's like, alert, go in.
I'm just going to mask up right now to be safe.
I mean, another pandemic's coming. So
Anyways, so so is that a napkin?
It's a napkin, but it's I'm not fit tested, so I can't wear an N95,
And you're there all alone, aren't
and
you?
I'm not clean shaven. So anyway,
Get that diaper off your face.
So
We're
when
having a conversation.
COVID first came out, I was at a job site. We probably installed about 2.5 or 3 miles worth of pipe. So it was a really big job. And they were like, hey, you got to wear a mask. And of course, couldn't buy masks anywhere because they were not on the shelves.
Yeah.
They're like, just put something over your face. So this one dude wore a damn thong
I've seen people do that.
for a good 13, 14 months before anybody ever said anything. Like,
Yeah.
hey, where's your face cover? And he just pulled it up, and it's literally just like a lace thong.
and it was used.
I probably knowing him,
hmm
Oh my
but
god.
yeah,
That's wild.
Added barrier that way.
They're probably like mesh, like see-through. Oh, you said
oh my
like
god, 24 inches of snow. No, thank you.
wild. Okay, so let me center myself. So this morning, Daryl and I did mostly Daryl did an X space on New Freedom and New Happiness, and he came up with the topic, a simple topic. It's from the promises, the 9-step promises, and there's so much to talk about both of those things, and we had a great conversation. And so, sorry, Daryl, if you're watching, for stealing it and talking about it again, but I felt really good after that, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to talk about it again and get more and get them two to talk about it, you two, about happiness. So okay, so I wrote something down, I don't know where it is.
All right, spill it, Scott.
What's wrong with
Oh my god. All right, I'm not going to say any names.
You're not helping the
I don't care.
situation.
I don't care. I told you I was going to train wreck this freaking thing from the beginning, and I'm going to fulfill my promise. So I had made a post earlier about how no one listens to my podcast except for my one good friend, XRP. And that's all that matters to me. And a gentleman commented on that, and he had some harsh words to say about my good friend, XRP. He said, what a miserable prick. And then he went on to say, you are literally the worst ambassador for AA ever. If I thought that there was even one miserable drunk like you in any room I'd walk into, I'd be out with one finger in the air. You are the miserable. You are that miserable. Go fucking drink and let the other people recover.
He said that?
Yeah.
Are you serious? To you?
No, that wasn't to me. That was to my dear friend.
Oh, he told him to go drink.
Yeah.
Oh, he's watching right now.
So I don't recommend anybody to go drink, but
No.
this gentleman felt strongly. So maybe he was talking to me. I don't know. It's funny either way.
I don't really go down my experience with AA. I don't go down that road very often, but I mean that's exactly one of the reasons why I stopped going to the rooms, because I always felt worse leaving than when I got there. So I was like, all right, fuck this shit. But anyway,
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
All right, we're not gonna. No, we're gonna stay focused.
I
You're
want
getting. You get okay.
Hey, it's Saturday night.
We have to rewind.
Okay. Yeah, it's done. It was just funny. It's bring the Hellfire,
I
Scott.
like it.
Thank you.
I like it, but I don't like someone telling you to go drink.
No, that was a little over top. The miserable prick thing
Little
was dead on, whether it was meant for me or the other guy. Let's move on.
It was oh. There's nothing in my brain right now, like nothing.
New freedom and new happiness. You had to have some idea of what.
So okay, so like
I do. I wrote a lot down.
alcohol gave me freedom. I was lacking freedom as a young man growing up, not able to do shit. And I finally moved out. And when I moved out, I kind of still remained the stay inside, not do anything person. And then a roommate's like, hey, I just turned 21. Let's have some Mike's Hard Lemonade. And I tried Mike's Hard Lemonade. I was like, hey, this tastes like shit. But
Loser.
what? Wait a minute. That feels pretty good. And then next thing you know, we had Jaeger bombs. And I was like, ooh, this feels really fucking good. I'm free. I can talk. I can have fun. I can, approach women. I can try to con them in the bedroom. I can do things that I never could have done before. And that was all kind of freedom. And it gave me all kinds of happiness. And I don't care what anybody says. It wasn't fucking fake. It was real. It opened those doors for me.
Absolutely.
And then the thing was, I couldn't shut the door anymore. So it started to get cold in there and it started to freeze and everything got really shitty after a while. But it took a long while. And I talked about that on the podcast today with Mary Beth. It's really easy to remember all the good times because you were present mostly for those. Sure, you were drunk and buzzed up, but you remember those good times. Then when the wheels fall off and I no longer want to hang out with anybody, I no longer give a shit about talking to women and getting them into the bedroom or whatever it was that I was trying to do at that time. When I no longer want to do that, I just want to stay home and get drunk. I don't remember that because that was just a complete fucking cloud. It wasn't there. It didn't exist during that time. So that's where it leads to. So it starts with freedom and happiness. And then once you hit that bottom, whatever that is to you, then you got to work through all these things. You got to work through the whys that you begin dependent on it. I can talk to people now. I don't need to talk to women because I got the best one in the world. But I can have podcasts. I can go talk shit to people on X that are talking shit to me first, I might add. But anyway, I can do all these things, and I have all kinds of freedom, and I'm happy now. I'm enjoying this. Sure, have some banters, and I talk some crap, and I throw a little dig out there here and there. But it's coming from a place of a newfound freedom and happiness and confidence that I didn't have before. So it was like up, and then it was way fucking down, and now, bam, it's back again. That freedom and happiness is attainable without a substance.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Absolutely.
It's the I didn't think of it that way because I thought of it like, yeah, I'm getting a payoff for sure. Like I drank for the first time and felt it was like glory, man. And I thought this is the answer and I feel accepted. You know the drill, all of that. And then I did have a payoff for a while, but then the consequences happened. But like still, like the consequences had to get really bad before I was willing to even maybe look at it and be like, maybe the payoff isn't worth this. But yeah, I mean, I loved using drugs and alcohol. Like that was my favorite pastime. I still don't dislike them. I just can't use them. Like that's just me being honest. And I don't care what anybody else does, like I'm not the alcohol police, I'm not the drug police. I don't care. If you want help getting off it, then that's cool. I will help you. If not, do your own thing, but new freedom and a new happiness. First of all, I didn't know what happiness was. I literally am starting to understand what happiness is. And it's not what I thought it was. We've talked about this on here a lot. I think it was like a couple months ago when I had this aha moment. Remember, Adam? And I was like, I know what happiness is now. It's not happy. It's not being happy. Because happiness isn't a state. It's like a temporary state, right? It's not a permanent feeling. I mean, I'm sorry. And so it's like you don't just like reach it and then you're happy forever. I kind of thought that though. I really did. I thought like, oh my God, I'm gonna get happy like to this point, and then everything.
I think you can have a happy go lucky joyful personality, like that's kind of your default
Yeah.
state, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are constantly happy.
With no,
It's very context dependent in my opinion.
yeah, you're right. Like I didn't want the uncomfortable emotions. So that was like what I thought was going to happen, that I would just be able to persevere and nothing would bother me because I'm happy, and it's not it's not real.
Yeah.
But I found that in sobriety I started finishing things, meaning I never really had goals though. Growing up I was really good in school and I did what I was told. Then I start getting older, and then I'm like ready to rebel because I was so sheltered, I think, and get out. And then it was like, it was different. So I thought that I was getting freedom with alcohol when I was running away from my mom and dad, because I was like, alcohol is the only thing that lets me have that.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy. But come to find out, it became like I built myself a prison in drugs and alcohol that it took me a while to even figure out that was happening. I still, even when I realized it was happening, I still wasn't gonna try to get out. Like I was okay in the prison for a while because at least I had my freedom, and I was free in this way, right? I was like, yeah, man.
It's a predictable freedom.
Yeah. Right.
So,
I didn't realize I was in the cage still, So, but now I did realize something. It's not just that automatically I got freedom and some type of happiness. Like happiness for me is growth and progress now. Like that's what makes me happy, because I never did anything before that was worthwhile. I never finished anything. I just gave up, and I almost took pride in that. That I didn't have to finish things, like because I'm special, and that doesn't make any sense. But that's how my mind thought. Um, I'm not going to keep going on and on, but I realize like you don't just feel that freedom. I'm still trying to unlock different levels of freedom in my life. That there's an internal freedom, there's the external freedom. Like I don't think about drinking, I don't go drinking, I'm not trapped by drugs or alcohol or other addictions anymore, thank God, because that was the biggest cage of all. But
yeah.
now I get to worry about not worry about, but now I get the privilege, really, or opportunity to to work through the other kind of cage I may have been in that I can't see, like doing what I want to, like taking on new possibilities and not just staying stagnant in one spot, you know what I mean? Because I think it'd be easy to just say, oh, I'm gonna stop drinking and using drugs, and that's all there is, because no, it's not. Like that's I can't just do that. I have to change my whole life. I can't My whole lifestyle had to change, And so I'm learning more and more every day about like, where am I not free? I guess you could say, right? Like, where am I still being triggered? Where it needs healing? And I feel like where there's healing, there's freedom. So I'm going to shut up.
I think one of the big, I guess, revelations that I had was when I first heard that promise, a new freedom and a new happiness. I just immediately associated it to alcohol and not being bound to it. But there's so much more to it. That's just from the way that I go about doing, I guess my own internal work now, to the point to where I would consider myself recovered. That new freedom was freedom from the cage and the prison and the box that I had kind of built myself into, the stories that I had told myself about how the world works, which is what kind of caused me to want to drink and run away from. And so getting rid of the alcohol, excuse me, was obviously a huge step, the biggest step, the first hurdle. But going and finding the beliefs and the stories that were causing all the issues for me to run from, that's a completely different kind of freedom. Because yes, that was causing me to sedate and drink, but it goes over into every other sector of your life too. I mean,
Yeah.
especially relationships. And so when those are kind of dissolved and no longer there, and you've made space for them and kind of integrated those dark areas into who you are, you understand where your thoughts and emotions are coming from. And so it kind of allows you to change those and have life come at you in different ways, even though you're really not changing anything about life. You're changing who you are and how you perceive things. And that has been the biggest jump in what I would consider my freedom, which is just leads to a genuine, like you said earlier, I don't think you could piss me off. You probably could try. You could get me slightly.
You'd probably laugh. You'd be like,
Yeah,
oh, God.
so, yeah, I would probably laugh before, I got angry.
Then that's awesome.
But
Seriously,
again, what we've said before in the past is it's not like it's all butterflies and rainbows where I don't get, annoyed, aggravated, ticked at something. I do, but at the same time, I also recognize it and see it for what it is and go, is this really worth my time and effort?
Yeah.
99.9% of the time it's not. So
I'm learning that from you. I'm trying to.
But here's the fun thing about it. And you mentioned prisons earlier, and I thought about this. This is what we talked about. Had my mastermind with Peter Crone today. We talked about spirals and how finding issues to I used to call it the pit. So I used to call it going into the pit to get better. And I posted something a few weeks back about I kind of drew a spiral out showing what it looks like getting larger and larger and larger. But if you think about, do you guys know what a prayer maze is? Have you ever seen one of those? Or a mandala? Kind of looks like a spiral where if you follow it, you're going to go around this really large looping spiral. But when you get to the middle and you keep going, you end up unspiraling and coming out the other side.
Oh, I didn't know that's what.
Can you picture that?
Yeah, I just didn't know that's what they were.
Yeah. So
I didn't know what they look like.
It's used in a bunch of different religions and cultures. In the in certain Catholic sects, like the Benedictine monks use it. It's called a prayer maze.
Cool.
But it's kind of like you walk through this maze, chanting a prayer, chanting something, and it's kind of a meditative practice, very much like a labyrinth. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say the pint-sized giraffe. But anyway, what I was saying is when you find, I think for true growth and continued expansion of your freedom, you have to find those areas, and you will have to experience and go into the spiral, go into the pit, and engage that shadow and that darkness and learn what's there so that you can integrate it and process it, and then eventually unwind and you come out the other side stronger and more free. So that's where I was going with all that.
Cool.
I think you can continuously expand your freedom by removing the stories you tell yourself that are influencing how you see the world. And so if something is continuously bothering you, you got to figure out what that story is around that issue. And then once you can remove that and dissolve that story, then you can come back out the other side of the spiral stronger, healthier, happier, ready to go. So
yeah, man. I like that explanation. That was awesome. Scott, did you have anything?
What I'm here for.
No, that was pretty good.
I love him. No, but so you said exactly what I was thinking when I was trying to share, because I can never put it into words. Like, as good as you can. But hey, you know what I'm saying. I'll be like, yeah, you know what I mean. But it's like that is the peeling of the onion for me that I always wondered what they were talking about. I was like, that's stupid to say that. That doesn't make sense. But it's like that's the freedom, like taking off the layers, like a lot of the beliefs we've talked about that so much. And I never believed that as like I never understood that even. It never crossed my mind. Like I knew beliefs were there, but I didn't understand how important
Yeah.
and literally like the core of everything, honestly. I mean, that's where it's almost like that's where the blank not maybe canvas, but it's like where everything starts, my beliefs. And
It absolutely does.
yeah, like so it's been like really enlightening to start discovering ones that I didn't know, beliefs about the world I've had, and changing my perspective, my perception.
Yeah.
And no, but there was something else you said and I can't remember now. Damn it. I'm gonna start making notes when you guys talk. I am, as I can't remember.
I keep staring at the title up here, and I feel like it should say a new freedom and a new happiness and a new hope, and then a lightsaber.
Dorkwad.
A new hope. Yeah.
Dweeby dweeb.
I can't. Yeah.
I'm just
What
kidding,
it
guys.
is.
Don't
Is what
attack.
it is. Is what it is.
I was kidding
Help me,
though.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You're not really a dweeb, are you? I don't think you're
I
really.
consider it a nerd or geek. Not so much dweeb.
Why are you labeling yourself?
I don't have a pocket protector and glasses.
I have like, have you seen my big ass glasses?
Yes.
They make me feel at home.
So, speaking of hope, here's a question for you.
For
Do
me?
you consider, or anybody out there, you, since I'm talking to you, I guess,
Okay.
a
Okay.
sabbatical for a second. Do you consider hope a good thing or a bad thing or a neutral thing?
Well,
And why?
I would have to look up the exact definition of hope if it would have in the definition a positive, like a positive or negative type of language. You know what I mean? Read it for me.
A feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen.
Ooh, so it's neutral. It's neutral. It's what we make of it, right?
Lonnie says it's a great thing.
I think it definitely can be. I think it's totally necessary for life in general. I think.
Do you think it could be a negative thing?
Yeah.
How so?
Expectations, you said? And for the desire, because of attachments, because of having hope that something will happen. I might have hope, but it's delusional. And it doesn't really help me. It kind of harms me.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Oh, I like what he said. Optimism without delusion. Yeah. So I mean, I guess like if we're playing with words and whatever,
So,
then
so the reason that I was thinking about this is something we talked about earlier today. So you've probably heard the slogan. I heard it at an NA meeting. I think it says, "I used to be a dope fiend without hope. Now I'm a hope fiend without dope," something like that.
okay, yeah.
So anyway, I don't know why that one stuck in my head, but what we're talking about is with hope. Hope exists, and this is going to get kind of, I guess, we're not too deep, but
No, you're good. I like it.
kind of a little out there. So if you think about hope, and this one earpod won't stay in, I wish it would. Hope exists on a level where disappointment also exists, because the whole point of hope is to not be disappointed,
Okay.
right?
Right.
It's like, I hope that my new freedom and my new happiness continues. I
Right.
hope that I get the new job. I hope that I get a raise. I hope that my child acts well behaved in the supermarket this afternoon. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas possibility exists separate from hope.
Okay.
Possibility means you have the option of all possible outcomes, but you have no attachment to the outcome.
Okay.
So hope is attaching the desire for the outcome, which is up here, optimism without delusion. The big thing is the possibility that you have to be open to all outcomes, because when you hope for something, you're saying, I'm only going to be happy if a certain outcome happens, which
Okay.
is going to mess you up and cause suffering, because suffering is,
Yeah.
suffering is attachment.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was an interesting conversation that we had today talking about hope. And I was thinking about
Yeah.
how it applies to sobriety and recovery and stuff, because you hear the term hope all the time. Oh, just, hope, gotta have
Yeah.
hope. And I kind of like it, because if you hope that you're doing the work correctly to be sober, and you hope that you're going to be sober, you're going to stay in recovery, what you're doing is basically you're taking the responsibility off of you. It's kind of puts you in a victimhood mentality, because you are not taking responsibility for the effect, for the actions that come.
For hope?
Sense? Yeah. Think about it. Because now you can't confuse optimism with hope.
Well,
Optimism is a state of mind of how you look at things. Hope is saying that I hope something happens that I don't really have control over.
But it's not saying that, but by definition, isn't it saying that it could be hoping? Well, no, because if you hope for it to happen, it could be positive or negative. Either way. Hey, little heathen.
So it's something to think about, because
Yeah.
a lot of times I feel like we put too much faith in hope from a sobriety
I like where
recovery
you're
standpoint.
taking this though. That's interesting. What about okay, so what about hope in the context of, like, when I think of hope, I never thought about that. I usually just think of I think that we have to have hope in life to even just carry on every day. If
I think that's different.
Yeah, that's kind of the context that I think of hope anyways.
Yeah.
I haven't thought of it in that way, so that's why that's interesting. And I also think when it comes to recovery, hope is, for me, like when the new person comes in, or not even just a new person, when someone is trying to learn a new skill, or they're trying to better themselves, whatever, they're trying to do something, and they gather hope by, first they have to see it, like to know that it's even a thing, right? Like an awareness of it, that it's possible. So that's what it means to me. Like, so like my hope in doing the podcast online is so that people will see that it is possible, and to have hope that they could do it too, because it is real.
So then the difference is your intention. Your
No,
intention
because
is
it's
for
not
people to
really,
see it.
but I think of like being on the receiving end too, like I needed hope to even take a step forward, because I really thought that people weren't sober.
I thought that it was just like a fairy tale thing. Like I was delusional using drugs at the time. So it's
Sure.
like I thought the whole world was lying to me, you know. I'm like there's no way
Yeah.
people are actually sober. But then when I saw it, then I started thinking like maybe I can do it because it is real. Like so and like these people are really doing it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So like
Yeah.
I guess it could mean any kind of direction, like whoever's saying it, you
But
know?
so there's again, I think what you're actually referring to is you needed an optimistic outlook, or you needed to be shown that it was possible.
Yeah.
You
But
need some
then wouldn't hope be
faith
like
in the
hope that I
outcome.
can but wouldn't hope be like I get
What?
hope that I
Yeah.
can do it out of that?
What
You
I'm
know?
saying is, it's when hope is when you assign an attachment to an outcome. It's like, I hope it doesn't rain today and rain out the parade.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
That's what
I
that's what
totally get what
hope
you're saying.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know.
anyway,
I just thought of it in the context of like the one thing. So like
yeah,
you're
it
too
was
deep
just an
for me.
interesting, yeah, it was an interesting
It is.
conversation. So
It is. Look at Scott with his eyes darting. Hey Scott,
Yes,
what do you think
I
has
try
been
not to.
what do you think we know? What is the biggest example of freedom that you've got now that you're later in your sobriety? I mean, you know, obviously in the beginning stages of getting sober, it's it's the freedom that we're not controlled by the substances and actually doing them right. So it's like physical, and then it becomes, well, I don't think about them anymore. But now what is freedom in your life and your sobriety?
That's still it. I mean, not being attached to how to get it, where to put it,
Yeah.
how to hide it.
Yeah.
That's still it
man,
for
how to
me.
hide it?
I
God,
didn't
don't know
hide
how to
it.
hide it. Jesus, I think I was finding mini bottles for like at least 2 years after I stopped drinking, just in
Bro,
random spots.
behind my bed.
Well, see, like, so I I had a motorcycle, and that was my main transportation for about 10 years. So I had all these different luggages and bags and stuff in the garage that, I'd have a tank bag, I had saddlebags, I had a tea bag, just different things. And they all have zippers all over them and pockets and pouches. Man, I had mini bottles every fucking where. It
Oh
was
my
ridiculous.
God. Oh, was it hard to throw them away? Were they
In
still
the
full?
very beginning, I did find some full ones. I guess I had, forgotten where I'd hit them, but
Yeah.
by the time I found those, no, it wasn't hard to throw them away. Probably
That
in the very
reminds
beginning, it would have been hard, but
Yeah. Remember I had like a while sober, and I had the same wallet. Like I know this sounds crazy, but like I was at work at a treatment center, and for some reason I looked at my wallet and I started looking for a card, and I found a bag of heroin. Like like the residue though. And I
Mhm.
was just like, "Oh my god." I was just like, "Oh my god." I just flushed it, but it was just so weird. It didn't trigger me or anything, but it was just like, "Oh my god, I've had this on me the whole time."
Yeah, yeah,
Anyways, um but that's the freedom too, that alcohol is everywhere, especially like you don't just see heroin every day. So like that's not,
yeah.
you know, for the majority of us, alcohol um, is part of our stories, I think, or it starts with alcohol, at least for many people. But it's readily available. You can literally order that shit now so easily. Like it's so easy. Like it's more convenient than ever. It's crazy, and um, it just I don't know. It just like that's hard. I understand like really really like I can't even I'm drawing a blank. No, I'm not, but I don't want to take it that far. So, I'm gonna retract that. But what I'm saying is I love you guys, and I'm also saying that alcohol sucks. And that's all I got.
I think Scott's got something to say.
I want Scott to take it. I'm just waiting for him to say something. He don't fucking say nothing. He's
He's
supposed
got
to
that
save
look.
me from myself.
No, you're doing
Supposed to
great.
save me from myself.
I was just listening. I was enjoying the podcast myself. Miley's super sick, so I had to go check on her for a second, and then I came back in, and you guys were killing it. So I was just like, I'm just gonna enjoy this.
Until Lindsay dropped the ball.
Huh?
Until Lindsay dropped the ball.
Oh well, it happens to the best of us.
It
Brain
happens to me
fart.
all the time. All the time. Every time I'm on here. Like sometimes numerous times. All right, Scott, come on.
No, JF Weehawken said by definition, optimism would be preferable since optimism means that you are confident things will get better no matter what the outcome.
Yep.
True.
That's definitely a great way to go about looking at life. And
I mean-
yeah, no worries, Lonnie.
I'd rather be optimistic that somebody was going to bail me out of jail as opposed to hope somebody bails me out of jail.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I think you're right. Yeah.
It was an interesting topic because we're talking about different, like, there's basically, you have three selves. You've got the sensing self, which is the body, how you actually physically interact with the world. You have the perceiving self, which is the mind, and how the stories you tell yourself influence how you perceive the information that your body senses. And then you have the conscious self, the soul, the you, the being that is inhabiting this physical form. So it was a very interesting topic. So anyway,
Another thing that was mentioned today, Daryl said, and I've been thinking about it ever since, is he said something like, well, what we have in our toolbox, we have to have our toolbox filled up. And I was like, I love when people say that, but I started thinking about like, well, what is actually like in my toolbox now? As cheesy as it sounds, but like, I think that it would benefit people to hear like, what do we specifically have in our toolboxes? I want a tool belt though.
for
Pink one.
what problem?
All like
So-
like things like, what do we do? Well, I mean, yeah, it could be applied to anything, like, well, using on any addiction or
Yeah.
acting on it, right?
So I mean, from a keep me from relapsing standpoint, I don't really have many of those specific tools anymore. I mean, I guess I have access to them, but I've kind of taken them out of the toolbox and put other things in because that's not a problem.
But
I'm
like
super worried
emotional, but like, how do you, like, when you're emotionally triggered, like, it could be anything. You know what I mean? Because all that getting urges and everything is, anyways, is, I think, being emotionally triggered,
Yeah.
and that's the result.
I mean, be beating a dead horse here, but I mean, my tool, anytime I'm emotionally triggered, like if I'm to the point where something is affecting me emotionally, my first action is to basically pause, stop, start reflecting, literally look at this from a third person perspective and try to figure out what's going on. Why is what they're doing affecting me? And then address whatever it is that is causing me to feel that way, and understand what it is. And if it's something I can't do immediately, then I definitely start, journaling about it, or I'll call somebody, and if I need to talk, I'll talk. But usually it's a pretty quick process now where if I'm being emotionally triggered, I can stop, look at it, understand what's happening and why I feel the way I do, and can basically just, all right, well, I understand why that's pissing me off. So I'm either going to avoid that, or, well, that's pissing me off because I thought this or I believe this, and I can reframe how I'm thinking about it.
What about early in sobriety though? What helped you early? Like,
Breathalyzer.
really?
I had to blow in a breathalyzer for like 2 years. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at home
And-
randomly?
Yep. Yep.
Whoa.
That
You
provided
tell.
a lot of accountability in the beginning.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is it like a lot of times a day, or how often would you have to do it?
The days that, man, the days I had Adeline, it was 4 times a day,
Hmm.
and then random if asked. And then the days I didn't have her, I still think I did it 4 times a day.
Probably.
I think the only difference was the days I had her, Katie could ask for a random one. So
Cool. So that was
But,
one thing.
yeah, I mean that definitely helped. For
I know
me,
you journal.
yeah, journaling. I mean, I changed driving routes for a while, so I didn't go past liquor stores.
Yeah.
I definitely one time I pulled over. It was rather funny. I pulled over in this parking lot, and it's like I just started doing burpees in the parking lot, like working out to get my mind off of it. And sure as shit, a cop pulled up next to me, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Burpees." He goes, "I can see that. Why?"
Oh my god.
I was like, straight up with you, I got to do something to get my mind off alcohol. Otherwise, I'm going into that liquor store that's across the street. He goes, "All right, fair enough." And he pulled away. So,
Very fair enough.
but it worked, and I was able to just like, all right, got that out of my system and went on. But
So was the alcohol doing push-ups in the parking lot? That is the question.
the
Answer
alcohol
go.
was not in the
Oh,
parking
okay. All right.
lot. I was.
Proud.
One thing that I did a lot of that I didn't put a lot of stock in until I started doing more research into kind of the brain and some of the other stuff I talk about. But I think we've talked once or twice before about how the brain, when you attach emotions to imagination, the brain can't really tell the difference between reality and what you've imagined. And so I've mentioned this before that in flight training, you do a lot of what's called chair flying, where you literally sit in your office desk and you go through, close your eyes, you visualize your checklist, visualize the instrument panel, you take off, fly a pattern, land, and you're doing all this in your imagination. You're feeling it and putting your hands, where everything is, because the brain learns that way. So there were times I would sit at home and I would visualize my route to work, and I would visualize going past the liquor store without turning in, and going past the next one without turning in. And it definitely worked. I mean, it got to the point where I was driving right past with no thought, feeling, inclination to turn into the parking lot. So, it's just another strategy that helps.
Smart Recovery talks about that.
Yep.
That's wild.
Didn't even
Scotty?
know.
Scotty,
Yeah.
what do you think, bro?
Oh,
You gotta be looking at it.
anyway, the ankle monitor helped me for quite a while.
You had one? I'm so jealous, man. I had one in my car.
The alcohol monitor on my ankle vibrating every so often was very helpful in the beginning. It's weird how that just shut it off.
Why did it vibrate?
Yeah, it was just communicating, I think. I don't know.
What?
Maybe it vibrated when it did that.
Just randomly?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it took some getting used to sleep in or whatever. And you had to try not to get it like wet in the shower or over wet in the shower, because you get a violation for tampering with it that way. And
That's messed up.
And it just
How you
randomly vibrated.
yeah. I don't know if that was when it was communicating or that was when it's taking a sample, but it just like, man.
Was it an alcohol one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do
How's it
tell.
taking a sample?
Mm-hmm. Our pores.
What?
Yeah,
But
you're
people would try to stick bologna and shit down in there.
Yeah,
and do fucking shit. But I was like, I'm not even messing with it. So it basically shut off. Like I really don't remember a time with the monitor on my ankle where I was like, God, I just want to cheat this thing and do it, But I was also at a point where I was done.
Yeah.
Like I just knew I couldn't. So then all of a sudden, when that came off, it was like the norm. I didn't really think about it. I was kind of in mode, and then shortly after that, that's when it was like, okay, wait a minute, hey,
Dang.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
hear
getting
you.
tested here.
That's cool. Though. I always wondered how that it's a scrambler or something they call it, right?
Scram, yeah.
Oh, scram. Same
Hmm.
difference. That's cool though. I'm fascinated with how that works. That's really cool.
Well, I will be the first one to tell you if somebody ever asks, the breathalyzer thing worked wonders, and SoberLink is the one I had to use.
Oh, you did?
It's a pain in the fucking ass because you are not cheating that thing,
Wow,
not
good.
at all.
So, see,
It's a bigger one. You got to carry it around.
Yeah.
Really?
I used the BAC, the backtrack, the BAC track, little white ones
mhm.
for a while. You can fake those.
Yeah.
I faked that one.
But they have the tech now to do this where you can't fake it, like the
Wow.
ankle monitor thing, and it's ridiculous how much it costs, but it's still better
Yeah.
than a cage. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know why we can't invest in these things and keep people out of jail when they've hurt nobody, and we can hook them up with these
Yeah.
devices
Yep.
and allow them to see their children and work and continue their life.
Costs so much to incarcerate a person.
So
Much.
they don't pay for it though. Like you have to pay for it every day, right? And same with house arrest and all
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
So I bet you. No, I don't know. I wonder how many people are actually offered the SoberLink or the scrambler eggs. Scott,
Probably not a lot.
What?
Not a lot.
nothing. Oh, Mr. 23 is crack. He said, "Yo, hold on. Let me make it bigger because I'm blind." In rehab as we speak, just coming off a 5-month relapse from 11 years sobriety, reading 12 and 12 step 2. I'm back in the seat and I'm not giving it up this time. God bless y'all. God bless you. Thanks for joining us.
Crack
That's
is whack.
awesome. Crack is. It
So
wasn't
in rehab, so they're letting you have access. Oh, I guess
a lot, dude.
5-month relapse. So you have access to YouTube in rehab. It's pretty cool. I did go to one where they gave us our phones after you got out of detox and got out of like the first week or something after detox.
Yeah.
Let you have your phones. Now you weren't supposed to have the password to the Wi-Fi, but of course that got out.
Yeah, he's an intensive outpatient.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Gotcha.
very good. Good for you, dude, for coming back. I know that's hard to come back after having a few years, and you had more years than I did when I came back and know how difficult it is. So good for you.
Leveled up, little boy.
Leveled up. Hey, I hope you come.
See
See
you,
you,
Lonnie.
Lonnie.
Bye, Lonnie.
That was late.
It was late. I was reading shit.
Delayed response.
Hey, listen here, Miss Brain Fart. You want to start talking shit?
I take pride in my farts.
I'll put you on my list.
Whatever.
So I was laughing earlier because one of our friends on X got called a corker.
Oh, what?
Corker.
Corker?
Corker. I don't know what it means, but in the context of the dialogue back and forth, I laughed very hard.
That sounds gross.
Corker. It sounds like a British English slang.
Maybe. Sounds like something I don't want any part of.
You put a cork in it.
It's
Well,
stupid.
Yeah, never mind. You guys can read it.
No, I feel like it's a bad word.
I'm pro corker right now, whatever that means.
I will have your back just because I would do. So whatever he says, I agree.
You fucking corker, the guy says.
Well, I gotta get now. So now I'm gonna have to get on my phone. during
No,
my-
no. Let's
I'm
finish
missing
this.
out. I'm missing out. No, I'm just kidding.
So part of that new freedom and new happiness is not doing shit on Saturday nights, apparently.
Yeah, baby.
As somebody who just tuned in, like, wow, this is it. But this is actually,
Yeah.
These people are
Yeah.
weird.
yeah,
We got here an hour ago when we were having all the
so
fun.
much fun. It
Yeah.
actually is, because you're not going to wake up feeling like shit tomorrow.
That's absolutely right.
I don't have to remember where I hid that fucking bottle, so I don't get in trouble.
Or
I
your
know how
car.
much the same amount of money that's in my fucking pocket will still be there tomorrow.
Yep.
So there's some benefits to this.
Yep.
I agree with you, Scott.
Trying to think of something else to keep us going.
I
Somebody's got
got-
a comment and keep us going.
I got some in there.
What? All right. Well,
I
let's
just
go.
gotta find it.
Stop with the brain farts and pull them out.
Well, I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart,
Uh-oh.
I appreciate everything you guys do.
Oh,
Your time and effort,
Ditto.
being my friend. I know it's hard.
I'm just gonna bask in all the glory and accept the compliment.
That's how I feel about it.
Your voice sounds better today.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
you
you.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Back in it.
I coughed
Yeah.
up a lot of phlegm this morning.
Oh, and you've done like 65 lives today, so that's
Oh, let's talk about Mary Beth. That
Yeah.
went really well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
really
she
liked it.
is a great spokesperson for being at the very bottom and then climbing out to the tippy top, and how that's possible.
And what's the name of that the group she uses, the secular recovery group?
Life Ring.
Oh, Life Ring. Yeah.
Life Ring. I have never heard of them until she started posting about it.
There's a lot of groups out there that just aren't very big, you know?
Yeah. Life Ring. Let's check that out.
Yeah, we were gonna do it one day, but Scott messed it up. What just
That's how I roll. That's really, I'm a corker. That's what it is.
What just happened to the screen? Did it change?
Yeah, remove the comment.
Oh,
It's past your bedtime, dude.
there's something wrong with it. It's 9:00. That's why. You're
Yeah.
right. Does anybody have any topics or anything on their
Gremlin.
mind? What?
It's like a gremlin will start throwing water on you
Mhm.
after midnight or something.
Rude. I can't even stay up that late. They can't.
Oh. IOP, that's something I hadn't thought about IOP in a long time.
Bro.
One of the ones I went to was resident, it was inpatient, and then it had an IOP attached to it. So when you got upgraded to IOP, you just literally went across the street into like a cabin.
I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah, he said he
Yeah.
leveled up and it's
Leveled
still
up.
residential.
He
Yeah.
leveled up.
That's what I did. I mean, we called it sober living or transitional living or whatever, but we still had to maintain meetings and therapy, and
Yeah.
we lived with a counselor.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, but you know what? I just really, really, really want to. Sorry. I just want to stress the importance of community. That. Yes, that has been really beneficial to me in my tool bag. Scott,
Yo,
stop.
I think I'm ready for bed too, man. This is my Saturday night. Gotta catch up on them Z's.
Awesome. Oxford on the 6th. Very cool.
Oxford.
The sober living, right?
Oxford.
Ooh,
Oxford, England.
I got one thing that I wrote down earlier that someone said, and I wanted to remember it. So, because for times like when I can't remember anything, like such as now, the goal is to have a strong foundation in life and in recovery. So I don't have to be doing all of this daily. And I think Adam said something very similar before. What do you think?
Yep.
I don't want shit contingent on a 24 hours. Like, I'm sorry.
Yep.
That was my whole. I don't want to have to think about sobriety. I just want it to happen.
Yes.
And
That is freedom.
that's what I went after.
And
You don't
that's
have to
what
do
freedom
that.
is.
If your beliefs change around alcohol and around life in general, like I don't see how
Yep.
if you have a fulfilling life, I don't see how it would pop up.
I don't
I'm
want to.
telling you what.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, I don't want to have to pull this book out every time I want to feel recovery and freedom.
Yeah.
I want to pull out a different book maybe and read that book instead. And, you know, I don't talked about it with Mary Beth today, you know, alcohol is my crutch. And then if I have to have meetings and books for the rest of my life, that's just another crutch. I want to be able to walk on my own.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Was it last night, the night before? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But when I started thinking about, instead of changing identity, but I didn't really change an identity. What I was doing was pulling the layers off from in front of my eyes, pulling off the layers that required alcohol is what got me to the effortlessly sober.
Right.
Basically getting rid of all the stories that I was telling myself to justify, to allow myself, that required me to drink. Getting rid of all that is, I mean, there's nothing then to sedate from. There's nothing to need comfort over. Now it's just a living life on life, you know, it's just living life. When something bad happens, you just deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go and sedate and hide from it. You go, okay, well, that sucks. Let's fix that.
Yeah. You never have to feel that way again.
Yeah. That's freedom.
What did Mary Beth say about, she said something about triggers or relapses, like she says like data. What did she said something that I really liked.
Data points. No,
What
that
did
was
you
RJ
say?
that said that.
Oh, okay. Maybe you pulling off the layers that required me to drink, that makes sense to me. Yeah, like the beliefs that keep us stuck.
Yeah, Neil, the way I think about it, you know, I used to say that I created a new identity that didn't have drinking as an option. But what it was is I was getting rid of all of the shit that my identity was carrying around, getting my identity down to just the true self, the who I am, without all of the different influences on my perception of life.
If you don't know yourself, I mean, if you don't do any kind of work and change your life, like you can't really get sober at all. Like, I don't care how many meetings or how many prayers, like it's just because it's like that awareness of like when we have triggers, I think the most unsmart thing to do is pretend they're not there and that they won't go away like that. It's like it makes them grow. But if I look within and I'm like, I gotta know myself and be able to access, I gotta be able to access myself and my feelings and emotions and be able to see, well, what was just triggering me right now? Like if I don't get to that core right there of my triggers, which is like we were talking about earlier, which is I have to heal like every single one. I mean, there's got like for real, there's got to be.
Yeah. And I don't think you ever are going to get to a point in life where you've healed every single one, because life
Yeah.
We are humans living on Earth. Shit is going to go bad, and you're not always going to be able to process something immediately. You might have something buried, hidden down in there that takes a specific thing to happen at a specific time when you are feeling a specific emotion,
Yeah. And it
to
comes
kind of
out.
unlock it. And when that happens, knowing how to catch it and see it is the biggest tool you can have, because if you can catch it and see it, then you can start working on it, processing it, and forgiving yourself for feeling whatever you were feeling, and integrating that and just going, hey, this is part of me being a human.
Yeah. 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 If I just say, hey, distract myself, you can't distract yourself so much that you bury it, because it will come back up.
Yeah.
It's not permanent solution.
Without slinging too much mud, Scott, this is kind of what Dallas was mentioning on your podcast, was gratitude lists and doing step works. A lot of that is just a band-aid to make me feel better about myself in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see a lot of, and again, not trying to sling mud, but the way I see a lot of step work portrayed is, you feel bad about that. Well, okay, good, work the steps on it. Did you step it out? Did you do 9, 10, 11, 12 on it? Whatever. Okay, that's making me feel better about myself in the moment, but is that actually going to the root of the problem?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most step work actually does that.
No.
I mean, I think it could, and I think there probably are people and there are sponsors that are able to get to that point, but it's probably few and far between.
A lot can be done, but I think there's so much more. I think it's a beginning for a lot of things, because I mean, even when you're doing your 4-step, I won't get too much into it, but there's the fears. It's all very like basic and selfish, dishonest, those main kind of character defects or what have you. And then you discover like, hey, I'm a big piece of shit when you do it. I mean, I did. And
I guess my argument, the reason I don't like that, is because what we're doing is we're adding another layer, another filter for you to view the world through, in hopes that it removes the one for alcohol.
That makes sense.
That it will. Maybe it will if you keep adding that filter every single day, but eventually you're going to be looking through the world from an AA 12-step perspective.
Yeah.
And if that's how you want to do it, great. Keep you sober, great. But what I'm saying is, if you can learn to not be looking through anything and learn to pause, not react, evaluate, and decide how to act and how to respond, then you don't need any of it. So
I think, well, whether you're using the 12 steps or not, that should be the goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I should have finished that with, but yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's a goal. I mean, well, I was just saying that's the plan. That's what we say all the time. Yeah. The goal is complete total freedom and happiness.
Yeah. And the goal isn't just to take away the drugs and alcohol. I mean, that's not really much of a goal. I mean, that's like the beginning goal, right? The goal is to build a life that I don't want to escape from, that I don't want to.
There you go.
I mean, because really that is all encompassing, right? Like, reality is better than anything else for me now. And that's crazy as frick to say.
Crazy as frick.
Because I don't
all the F-bombs have been dropped and now we get a frick.
I used them all up in the first 6 minutes.
I don't know what's come over me, man.
What movie? There was a movie with a character named Frick in it.
Frickin'. Frick.
Merlin, right? Is it Merlin?
Sounds stupid.
Jesus Christ.
It was played by Martin Short. Martin Short played this Yeah, yeah.
Stupid.
It's Merlin with Sam Neill. I can't remember who played Morgan Le
Working
Fay.
it up right now. Dorky.
What were you just watching? You were watching something on Silent Hill where people.
That is not dorky. Okay, everybody put in the comments. I know you won't.
Oh, good.
I'm
I'm gonna run the wrong way down a hallway. I'm gonna, I'm gonna trip and fall
Haunted
over
Hill House.
nothing. Beautiful movie. Beautiful.
Dickwad.
Movie. All of them.
Dickwad. The Haunting of Hill House.
It's a movie.
You guys know this chair, the screw comes out often when I'm sitting on it. Just
You got the
falls.
wall.
Yeah. That's not good.
Well,
I think we've run our course here.
yeah. You Corkers have a good night.
I'm gonna have to go find this thread.
What the frickers?
I want to say it. I want to read the comment. And just
No, wait. No.
If you
We'll
want to
end
find
it
the
first.
thread on that,
After we end it.
Okay, bye.
bye bye.
Wait, don't go. Okay, wait, don't